the last time I tried this, the whole thing just got, well, it didn't work. Which is okay. I mean, I've got 3 different screens. The same camera is connected to 3 programs, 2 of which, the ones that are on that side. See, I had to look over. Oh, there it goes. Okay, I guess it just is too much, which is fine. We didn't need to see 3 of me talking. It's just kind of fun. What's important here is that, that the screen recording is still working. You can't see this. There's the reason I'm moving the cursor right over my face, over my eyes. You can't see it, but there's something that looks very similar to this right here, but it's called screen recording, and I'm just going to move it out of my way, down over here, out of the way. Okay, so anyway, really, this is all about synchronization and oh, I know. See, I like the face. I'm sorry. I've been saying, no, I don't want to get negative about Apple. It's not the time. Be positive. You believe in positivity. It's just that this is really ridiculous what happened. Let me show you something. I'm going to go to iMovie. Okay. And we're going to get rid of this thing because it's screwed up. Good. That's the thing that, okay, if I do this now, it'll probably work. Okay. And this is what I did yesterday. I did 2 of them, an hour each, which were meant to be my first 2. Ooh, did it happen again? Oh, look at that. Okay, so clearly we've got too much going. Oh, I know what it is, though. It's this guy. It's this guy that's the problem. Well, the fact that it's on. Let me turn it off. Now, I mean, this is still stuck. I don't need it anyway. I'm going to just get it out of it. This was just to say that I used this program. Come on, you're finished now. There we go. You know what, though? I know what I'm going to do. I think I want to be able to talk to you with my face. I mean, I am talking to you, but I want to have my face. Partly from my own, really, when I think about it now, it helps keep me going. It helps me be serious, you know. I mean, if I'm looking at if I realize I'm over there, it keeps it in my mind that I'm talking to you. Person. I don't know who you are. That's the amazing thing about this whole new medium. We now, each of us, pretty much, I mean, not the most impoverished people, but most people in the world these days, well, billions of people, have the capacity to record something of their own lives. Either just audio, like with something like this, just an audio recorder, or with a camera. I'm using the built-in camera here, and I'm not using iMovie like this one, which is what I used yesterday, just to show you again. It's probably going to stop again. So yesterday I was using this for 2 1-hour segments, long segments, and afterwards I started to watch them. Apple, why in this thing, it's your own program, Apple. It's your camera, which is a fine camera. Okay, the thing that just happened, that's not Apple. I don't hold Apple responsible for that one. I've got too many cameras going on. I just wanted to show you what I was using. I was using the built-in HD camera, which I'm actually using for this over here too. It's just that I was using iMovies. Okay, we're in iMovie. I got it. Oh, here we go. I'm over here. Okay. Oh, I see. This is going to my face is going to disappear. That's fine. I don't really, the point with this is not for me to, see, it won't let me make it any smaller. Thank you, Apple. You always know that. See, Windows always let you make things really tiny, so sometimes you make it so small you don't have any idea what's in there, but sometimes you just want to get it out of the way, but still have it right in front of you on the desktop. But Apple, in its infinite wisdom, Uncle Stevie says, oh, for your FaceTime thing, this one here, oh, you wouldn't want it any smaller than this. So you can make it big. You see how the arrow goes and says, oh, you can make it bigger. You would never want it smaller than this. Because why, Apple? Because Apple's smarter than you. That's why. Apple knows what's going on. Oh, I see. I need to make this smaller, which I can do, again, only so far. And, yeah, I mean, much smaller than... Why? Ooh, I've got to turn the engine on. Sorry, I'll be right back. Oh. Why did I take the key out? Oh, because you're a dunderhead. You work for Dunder Mifflin. Is that what it's called? Dunder Mifflin or something? The paper company. Okay, now hopefully that will. There we go. We got power again. Good. Not gonna run out. So, okay. So here are the two things: 59 minutes, 57 seconds, and then I made up for the 3-second shortfall in the next one. And, well, this is something that I did outside. You can see it. I move very quickly. No, I'm just going back and forth. And well, oh, okay. So I've decided. Okay, it's a long story. And the question is now I'm talking to you with my eyes. Let's see, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt, and I can't be looking down here because then you'll see I'm looking down there. Whereas I really need to be looking at you. Right? I don't really know. I can't have my eyes in two places at the same time. I mean, maybe if I rewired myself so one eye could go this way and the other can go that way, that'd be fine. I mean, why not? I mean, after all, I'm just a set of tables in the matrix that has all my different, everything about me, about how my mouth moves and all that stuff. I mean, I really am lying in the pod, providing energy for the matrix. Oh, and I want to invite you to come in too. It's like, it's great here in the matrix. Let me, excuse me. Oh, my forguade segawata. What's he talking about? I don't think he knows. It's okay. Everybody, it's okay. We're all under control here. All of us. We're all contained within this one body. We're all here. We're all fine. Sometimes we get a little mixed up who we are because there are so many of us. And we kind of go back and forth between this one and that one. Yeah, that's right. We go back. Yes, that's what I said. Yes, sometimes I acknowledge your existence. Though I prefer not to acknowledge his existence. He's that part of me that, that part of me that's always ready to point out the possible danger that I'm in. Which, if it were being done in a current way, in a now kind of way, I would be very appreciative of. And since he's not doing it, he being some kind of amalgam of my father and other authority figures, I get some of my mother in there too. Oh, my mother was always on the alert for danger. Danger everywhere. Oh, the world's gonna... The only thing, remember, that Obelix is afraid of is the sky falling on his head. Well, that wasn't the only thing my mother was afraid of. Everything. She was very afraid that I might get hurt. And actually, she had good reason. When I was 7, I fell off my bicycle and I almost died. that was a rough thing for her. It really was rough. It really marked a change in. Actually, didn't I almost? I had something earlier in my life, which was life-threatening. I think it was my allergic reaction to penicillin or something, but I almost died a couple of times in my life. Falling off my bike, that was the biggie, because I went into a coma and I had to have my, I had to drill holes. I heard about it later on because my parents became friends with a neurosurgeon who drained. I was bleeding pretty significantly inside my skull, and if that hadn't been dealt with, I would not be here. And I learned later about why it took so long. They had to this was in 1962. A lot of the techniques they've got now, didn't have them then. My feet were in ice. Keep my body from freaking out and going up, getting feverish, and as they opened up my brain, my skull, and so they had to have this little hand drill, make these little holes, but big enough. So they made I made holes all around in a circle on this side. So they make a hole, and then they thread it. They make one hole, and then the next one. They thread it up like a little wire saw from one hole to the next one to get it out. Somehow they were able. They must have had it on some sort of a thing that made it go out, up and out. Like that. So that it would come out. They'd go in one side, one hole, and then they'd work it out so it'd come out the other. And then they could maybe take that curved thing off, and then they had a saw. Those kind of saws that are just on a wire, and they'd saw through that part of my skull and open that up, and then they'd go to the next one, all the way around. It took a long time to do this, and then they went in and found they drained out the blood, and they fixed up. I don't know, cauterized or they sewed. They probably think they sewed. The whatever blood vessels had been burst together, I guess. I don't know. So so that they wouldn't keep bleeding. And then they had to put it all back together. They put wire stitches in my skull, and for years and years, I don't know how long, maybe 10 or more, a long time, and it hasn't happened anymore. But for many, many years, if I pressed in a certain place, you ever chew aluminum foil and you have filling? You go, that's what it was. It wasn't excruciating. It was just weird. It's like a pain, like an electrical thing going into my brain. Like I feel it inside my head. The scar on my head wasn't a circle because they didn't want it. They didn't take the whole skin off. They just took, a big U, an upside down U. That's what they cut on my scalp, pulled it down, and then they started on this whole business with my skull, opening it up. And so I also wore my hair very short. That was just the normal thing in 1962 for boys to have basically buzz cuts, pretty much. So you could see this scar for years and years, and people would say, "Hey, what the matter with you? You got hit with a horseshoe? You were playing horseshoes?" Yeah, I was playing horseshoes. And that's why I have this thing on my head, Oh, because Scott Bobby's in for Baba. Oh, this, by the way, if you're wondering what the hell this is all about right here, well, we might as well. Where is it? What's going on here? Well, is it? Oh, yes. Well, this is a.
Happens to be a lot because deep down underneath we are all the freaking same.
Okay, that wasn't quite this. Oh, it was. Well, I was just reminding myself of Clockwork Orange, and for you people who have never seen it, I would suggest don't bother seeing it until you're an adult, because it's got some very disturbing violence in it, very disturbing. But it's an incredible movie, and it's got some very funny parts, very funny. At the same time, it's giving this picture of a society that's completely lost. So that these ultra-violent teens are completely out of control. Nobody can deal with them. The parents, like this guy's parents. I mean, they're just, put their head down. Oh, we're going to go to work. And yes, son. I hope school's going well. Yeah, Dad, I haven't gone to school in 5 years, you go-boo-boo. And if you actually went and talked to my teachers, you'd find out. But you don't want to talk to my teachers because you know I don't go to school. That job that I have, the job that I have lifting valuable things out of people's pockets, that job that gets me so nicely paid. I work hard when I'm not in school. So anyway, I'm sorry, I have a job to do this morning. And I'm sorry I'm going to have to do something because I'm just feeling this hankering for a little bit more of just a little bit more caffeine because I have this job to do. And at the moment, I'm feeling a little tired, so I'm going to have a little bit of... really refreshing. I like this Arizona stuff. Arizona in general sells all this sugary shit. Really horrible stuff. Sugar. Sugar. People say sugar. What sugar? Makes you fat. Yeah, well, more than that. Diabetes. It's a very serious thing. My brother-in-law died. He went to bed one night. He was 52 or 3. He's just about my age. So it really, Steve Jobs, by the way, was my age. When he died, he was within months of my age. I think he was a few months older than me. I was born in September. I think he was born in April or something of 1955. So when he died, I thought, oh my God, it's sad. I don't like it when people die who are my age or younger. I had neighbors who lost their 30-something-year-old son. He had 2 children, and his brother, who was a good guy, very good guy. I love his brother, who still lives in the same house that he grew up in, and he's got this wonderful Brazilian wife. He had a couple of real whack job Brazilian girlfriends. Beautiful. He had this ability to find these beautiful Brazilian women. Plenty of them who were wacky, but of course that's everywhere. Beauty does not ensure sanity. I would say, in fact, it's often one of the impediments to sanity, because people make a whole big deal out of something that's not really who you are. And they don't pay any attention to who you really are. And that's sad. And I'm starting to talk now, I'm starting to go out and market to an audience that I believe I have a lot to say, a lot of constructive things to say. Young people, high school students, middle school students, maybe even elementary school, but I'm not doing that now. With elementary school students, it's all through the parents and maybe with the parents, Middle school students I'm a little afraid of, because the school that my daughter went to, great school, I was out there, there's a park across from it, and I was performing right after school, and I was trying to get their attention, I was. But holy cow, it was like I unlocked Pandora's box, because a couple of the boys decided that they were in charge, that they liked this and they were going to take over now. Holy shkabooby. And it basically, I kind of had to, I really had to, I'm going to say run away, but that's not what it was. I felt I wanted to run away, but I couldn't, because these guys were following. It wasn't just the boys. That's the problem. It was the boys and I don't know how many other kids, 50, 70, 80 kids. It was a whole bunch, because once a group started, then this whole other group came. And these kids were really trying to establish themselves as somebody who was with me, or they were interpreting me for their pals, or something like that. And they wouldn't. I was saying, okay, I'm going. Goodbye, everybody. It was good to see you. And these guys wouldn't stop. And because they were following me, everybody else was following me. And I was not the least bit worried for my own safety. These were just a bunch of kids, and they weren't violent kids. I was worried about the kids. One kid, following a whole crowd, running out into the street, because to get away from these guys, I went to the edge of the park, and I thought that would be enough. I'm walking on the sidewalk. No, it's not enough. So I had to cross the street, and I crossed the street, and I realized that all these other people were crossing that street at the same time. And I'm thinking, I don't want to be the one encouraging a whole bunch of kids doing something that they don't understand what they're doing, when somebody happens to be in a big hurry and they're pulling out of their parking space, and I don't realize that there's a kid right behind them, and they back up to the kid and crush him between their car and the car behind. I mean, I didn't want that to happen. So that's why I stay away from middle school kids. But I love them. And someday I'm going to go maybe right to that school with the park across the street. I know the woman who runs the not-for-profit organization that took the building that is in the middle of that park, which is a very historic building. It was a house that was there during the Battle of Brooklyn, which was a significant battle in the Revolutionary War. It's very possible that if the Brooklynites, the colonial arm, I mean the Revolutionary, what were they called? The people fighting against the king, the Americans. If they hadn't held off the British attack at the Battle of Brooklyn, we might still be thinking that Princess Diana, is some sort of special person. And I mean, I actually am very sad every time I think about her, because she didn't deserve to have what happened to her happen. She just didn't deserve it. And but it's the British people's fault. It's a stupid idea about the royalty. Royalty? What are we talking about? Royalty. We have an obesity epidemic. We have never-ending war, according to some of our leaders. We've got this guy Vladimir Putin, who's saying it's time to show the world how powerful we are. Just like this little fuckhead with the mustache in Germany. And the people love somebody doing that. Not all the people, just enough of the people. And, well, enough of the people not only would like to feel that this guy is doing something great for the great Russian, our heritage or whatever. But there are also a lot of people who are saying, I better think this way. I better show all my friends that I am a follower of the great man. Because that's what happened in Nazi Germany. What percentage of people in Germany would have had anything to do with what started happening in 1935, 1937? The people who voted for the Nazis in 1933 voted for people. It was a fair and square election. I mean, just like most elections are. Whoever lies the most effectively will win. That's it. And he did. He and his friend Goebbels. That guy was quite something. You ever want to see a scary picture? Look up Goebbels and maybe scepter, because the guy is carrying a scepter. I mean, he's sitting in something like a director's chair on a stage. And the lighting is all South. I mean, I don't know if that woman Lenny Reifstoffel or whatever her last name. I don't think that is right. Isn't that's a Indonesian rice table? I think. Whatever Lenny Rice, who did Triumph of the Will, and then wind up living for the rest of her life. She only died a few years ago. In Hollywood, she was fine. All she did was make the greatest propaganda movie ever for the most monstrous, awful people. Well, no. Excuse me. Hitler was no more monstrous than Vlad the Impaler, who liked to have his men come in. They'd go into a village and they'd decide, well, we'll I don't know, we'll take every third person or something, or we'll take, just men today or women tomorrow, whatever. We'll just take whoever we want, and we'll take all these like thin trees, cut them down, really thin ones, grow fast. They have these, kind of like bamboo, but I don't think they use bamboo. Bamboo would be great because it grows so fast. But whatever they had in Transylvania, wherever he was, I think that's the thing. That's the whole vampire thing. Vlad the Impaler is the model for. Well, he was a Dracula. The Dracula family. I mean, Vlad was I think he was of that family, or something like that. And they lived in Transylvania. I mean, that's what all these myths are from, and they're based on a real person who did not go around drinking blood. He didn't have fangs, and he didn't do all that stuff. He didn't turn into a bat. You would much rather do that because you think about Bela Lugosi, Dracula. I want to suck your blood. Oh, I don't drink blood. I don't drink wine. Renfield comes and. I'm gonna go, and people say, "Don't go up there, don't." Oh, but it's business. Nothing can get in the way of business. Master, what can I do? How can I die for you, Master? Is what happened to him after Dracula brings him some wine, and it's his it's all the bottle's all dusty, and he dusts it off. Dracula, by the way, Renfield has already noticed this on the way in. He's noticed a few strange things. They're like, after all the people go, don't go there. No, stay here. Don't go there. Oh no, with me it's business. So Renfield goes, and he gets this. Well, the carriage. He says, I'm supposed to go to this pass, so I need somebody to take me there. And so somebody says, okay, this guy, I'm going to soak this guy for all he's worth, but I sure hope I get the hell out of there in time. And basically, they get to this pass, and the guy goes, get out, and he throws the bag out, and he gets out as fast as he can. And Renfield goes, wow, the people here are very touchy. I wonder if I should be concerned, And then a carriage comes, and the guy driving it is like very kind of mysterious, You don't really, he's just a driver, so you don't pay much attention. But he is a little creepy, Drivers can be creepy. You've ever had a creepy taxi driver? They exist. So anyway, what are we talking about here? I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest. No, I don't. I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh, just put it back. That's right. Too many things going on in my mind at the same time. That's the problem. So anyway, I'm almost halfway through. No, I do this for 1 hour. And we'll go up. And then the next hour we'll go up in front of it. You'll see that first on my website. And the next hour will go up before that. And then there'll be 3 hours of what I'm doing. And then, don't tell everybody. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter one way or the other. Actually, I guess the best way for you to make sure that everybody knows is for me to say, don't tell anybody, please don't. It's just between you and me. Oh, never mind. I won't tell you, so you won't be tempted. Don't worry about it, baby. It's nothing. Nothing other than sort of just some of the inside scoop. But don't worry, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right, Ma, you know. I'm only pleading. Darkness at the edge of noon, at the break of noon. Marshmallow pies coming out of the moon. Silicretious salamities become for pecadudis de gavalas de gabonato. Oh, am I not speaking English anymore? I think I'm not speaking English anymore. Okay, don't worry. A little paratopia there. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's my friend Bobby. I mean, he's actually my uncle. Why did I say? He's a friend of mine. He's my uncle. He's my friend. Bobby. He's a character, and he's... You know what? We'll talk more about Bobby another time. Anyway, we were talking about Dracula. Oh, that's right. So, I gotta be careful of hitting my thigh, because yesterday I decided I'd take the easy way out of the canyon that I was in, where there was a stream, the Santa Paula Creek, that is interesting because it's an area that has tar seeps, and it has a few, I think it might have some sulfur springs also, so it's just an area that's got, it's interesting. So the water, you don't want to go swimming in that water, because you'll wind up with pieces of tar all over. Kind of interesting, actually. I have some footage of it, and actually I should show it. Yeah, I could do that. You could have that instead of just seeing this static image here. I could just be putting the tar. It's pretty neat. It's called ViewZac, VZ, ViewZac. Well, you'll see it. So anyway, we're back to Renfield. Is he doesn't wait long before the carriage with this mysterious driver comes along, and he goes, hello, I'm here to see Dracula. And the driver doesn't say anything. He just kind of points inside. Go inside, okay? Everything's going to be peachy keen. Don't worry, talk hunky-dory, etc. So Renfield gets in, and they're going along. And they're going along on this road that goes up to there's a castle that's on like the peak of a really, this craggy mountain thing. And it's like a ridge. The road's right on a ridge. And there's nothing, it goes down on both sides, and there's nothing. You want to go to Dracula's castle, you're going to not have to worry about getting the munchies because you've passed by McDonald's. That's not going to happen. Ain't going to happen. You go to Dracula's house, you get to drink wine. Oh, it's very old wine. Oh. Well, aren't you going to have some, said Renfield. Oh, I don't drink. Why? Says Dracula. Now, you'd think by this time Renfield would have started to get an idea that something's going on, because before he cuts to this place where this big table that he gets to sit at himself, he's not really sure why Dracula isn't joining him for dinner. He's got this nice, where are the servants around here, Did Dracula make this dinner for me himself? He's quite a guy. I think it's going to be a real pleasure doing business with him. See, Renfield is a real estate guy, And Dracula wants to buy some real estate in England, because he's getting sick of the Transylvanian women. His blood is getting very thin. He wants some good blue blood. Well, he'll settle for red blood too. It might be hard for him to get inside the palace walls, Buckingham Palace, So anyway, Renfield, yes, back in the carriage. There are so many interesting details in this movie. Dracula with Bela Lugosi. That Okay, anyway, so he's in the carriage, back to the carriage, before gets to the castle. He's in the carriage, and he's going on this road that's, it's just going up along a ridge, and it's craggy, rocky. And the carriage is kind of bouncing up and down and back and forth, and it's going faster and faster and faster. And Renfield is going, and then he says, driver, driver, and then he looks up, outside, and the driver isn't there. There is, on that though, a bat. And apparently, maybe the reason why Renfield can't see the driver is because the driver must have had to go back a little bit to shine his flashlight on the bat. Because that's what you see. You see a bat with a flashlight shining on it. I mean, you don't see the flashlight, you just see the light. But it's a flashlight on the bat because it's pitch black. And yet you see the bat. The bat's black, it's pitch black outside, and you see the bat, and then you realize, oh, somebody's shining a flashlight. So Renfield figures, oh, it's the driver just shining a flashlight on the bat, who's flapping over the horses. But why is the driver doing this? Am I really sure the driver's up on top with shining the flashlight? Why isn't he just sitting in the seat where he was shining the flashlight on the bat? I mean, that would make sense as he's making, he's driving the carriage and there's a bat up there and he's shining his flashlight. Why would he get out of the seat? Maybe. Winfield just said, actually, while his thoughts were coming, he was going through these thoughts, all of a sudden they come up to the castle. And he goes, oh my God. Oh, driver, I can't believe what I saw. I mean, you did a good job of shining your flashlight on the bat, but driver, where? And he gets out and he goes, driver, where are you, driver? And he's just kind of puzzling this. He's going, what's going on here? When the doors of the castle, open. And then he looks up and he sees one of those little things, what do you call it? There's a word for it, the thing that sends out a little beam, and when it bounces back, it goes, oh, there's somebody here, so let me open the doors. So he sees that up there and goes, okay, at least I understand why the door's opening by themselves. And then he comes in and, oh, there's Dracula inside with a candelabra. Oh, it is so good to see you. And Renfield goes, oh, you're driving. What? You have a very strange driver. I don't know what he was doing. He was driving too fast, and then he lets go of the reins so he can stand back so I can't even see him, shining a flashlight on a bat that seems to be kind of leading the horses. It's all very strange, Sir Dracula. Oh, well, come with me. Okay, I'll come with you, Dracula. And they go up these stairs. And the thing about Dracula's castle, you got to understand it as that it's very, very old. And Dracula has this thing about genuineness. He doesn't believe in getting rid of naturally occurring things, such as cobwebs. And so there's this stairway, and it's covered with thick cobwebs. We're talking about hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years of cobwebs. And there's these stairs, which Renfield's go, what the fuck, this guy, what's he doing? He's leading me up these stairs that are just completely covered with cobwebs. You can't just even step up on the first step without going through all these cobwebs. And Renfield's just he's just taking this in his mind. He's saying, oh, well, he must have taken a wrong turn. We're really going to go the other way. When he goes, ooh, look at that. Because Dracula just kind of walks right through the cobwebs. And he goes, oh, wow. This is really neat. This is the last time I saw a hologram that was this effective was in Disneyland. So, wow, this is better than Disneyland. And so he comes up and he starts to walk through the hologram. But this is an incredible hologram, he says to himself. This hologram has substance to it. In fact, I'm not going to be able to get through here without taking my umbrella or my cane, or whatever it is that I always carry with me. I'm from England. Yeah, an umbrella. And kind of, cutting it through. Wow. Wow. I'm very impressed. I'm going to have to ask about their special effects. Maybe we can do some business together and make some really neat special effects movies. I mean, we might have to wait a little while because I think movies are... People just didn't watch movies in the 1800s, 1850 or something. They didn't watch movies. That's a bit of an issue. Well, that's all right. Well, for the future, for when people start watching movies, yeah, this Dracula guy and I we can do well together. So those are the thoughts that are going through his mind as he cuts through this hologram, this like solid, like substantial hologram of webs. And he goes up, and I mean, they really do seem real because I mean, his umbrella's all covered with cobweb shit. There are a couple of spiders going up and down it. This place, he's thinking, wow, this guy's got a lot of money. I'm glad I'm doing business with somebody with so much money. The problem with this guy was he didn't quite get it. He was still new to this whole thing of business. He had just gotten his MBA. And he didn't realize that the richer people are, the more stingy they tend to be. And the more they're gonna squeeze you for all you're worth and give as little as possible as they can, It's a little redundant to give as little as possible as they can. What are you talking about? Just give as little as they can. That's it, period. Just forget what I said before. You don't have to forget it. It's not that important. And none of it really matters, It just doesn't really matter all in all. But so anyway, then so Renfield follows him in, and Dracula says, "Oh, I didn't know, but that you might be hungry. Oh, I'm starving. I could eat I don't know, a vampire. No, I don't know where that came from, that idea. But anyway, Anyway, that's Renfield, and I think we're finished with that. Well, as you probably know, so Renfield drinks the wine, the very old wine, which of course has a very powerful sleeping agent in it. So he immediately swoons, and Dracula's wives all come out and go, "We want some male blood to drink." But Dracula says, "Get out of here, you women. Get there, you scubala. I made you into the vampiresses you are, and I drink first. And after I'm finished, you can come and have whatever's left over." And then wait, I have to change that. I need Renfield to be alive, so you cannot drain him of all his blood. You may take a little tiny sip. That's all. Just a little tiny sip. Maybe you want to give him a little head instead of sucking his blood out. Suck something else, just kind of, it's a different thing. But I do not want you to drain all of Dracula's blood, because he's got to go with me to England. He's got to be the one to, because I got to go in the casket. I mean, during the day, I can't be. See, no, it just can't happen. Got to be in my casket. Period. That's all there is to it. I can't do nothing else. I gotta go into my casket and sleep all day long. So we'll take a trip to England. Maybe I'll engineer a little storm so that I can. I know. So that during the storm, I can go at night. I can go and drink the blood of all the crew. Ooh. That sounds like fun. So, the ship, which was coming into harbor, but, because of this very sudden storm, which nobody understands, because the storm only seems to be around the ship. And they're thinking, what's going on? The ship is being tossed on cloudy seas, when the moon was a ghostly galleon, and the wind was a torrent of darkness through the gusty trees. Oh, wait a minute. Right century, wrong genre, really, because that was a poem and this is a story. So forget it. I'm sorry. I think I got off the topic. So, when the highwaymen came riding, yes, the highwaymen came riding up to the old inn door. Over the cobbles he clattered and clashed in the darkened yard. Then he tapped with his whip on the shutter, but all was dark and barred. So he whistled a tune to the window, and who should be standing there but the landlord's black-eyed daughter, Bess, the landlord's daughter, plaiting a dark red love knot into her long black hair. One kiss, my bonny sweetheart, for I'm after a prize tonight. But I shall be back with the yellow gold before the morning light. Yet if they press me sharply, harry me through the day, oh, then look for me by moonlight. Watch for me by moonlight, and I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way. Oh, he did not come at the dawning, no, he did not come at the noon, but out of a tawny sunset, before the rise of the moon, when the road was a gypsy ribbon, looping the purple moor, and a red-coat troop came marching, marching, marching. King George's men came marching up to the old inn door, and they bound the landlord's daughter with many a sniggering jest, and they bound the musket beside her with a barrel beneath her breast. Keep good watch, and they kissed her. She heard the dead man say, oh, look for me by moonlight, watch for me by moonlight, and I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way. Look for me by moonlight, hoofbeats ringing clear. Watch for me by moonlight. Were they deaf that they did not hear? For he rode on a gypsy highway. She breathed one final breath, then her finger moved in the moonlight. The musket shattered the moonlight, and it shattered her breast in the moonlight, and warned him with her death. Back he spurred like a madman, shrieking a curse to the sky, with a white road smoking behind him, and his rapier brandished high. Blood red were his spurs in the golden moon, wine red his velvet cloak, when they shot him down on the highway, down like a dog on the highway. And he lay in his blood on the highway with a bunch of lace at his throat. And still on a winter's night, they say, when the wind is in the trees, when the moon is a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas, when the road is a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor, then a highwayman comes riding, the highwayman, riding, 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 yes, the highwayman comes riding up to the old inn door. So, I haven't gotten around to showing you something, which I want to do. I promised myself I would do this. It's a pain. But, okay, so yesterday, I did these two things. One 59 minutes, 57 seconds long. Another one 1 minute, 1 hour and 3 seconds long. So they average out to be exactly an hour long each. And, well, we could just do a little bit just to see what happens. You see, oh, I trusted Apple. Now, okay, we'll make it bigger so you can see. Well, look at. You notice that my voice is not in tune, in sync. Well, you know what? It seems like I didn't do a lot of. Look, what am I doing? Am I like on high speed? What is this all about? Who did that? Who said this? I didn't say this. What the heck is going on, baby poo? I am so confused. Wait, let's just. I am so. What is going on? I mean, I didn't do this. What? Stop it already. I mean, what's going on? Why is it doing this? Stop. Okay. What did I do? I don't know. There must be some way to make it go fast. Fine. The important point is, I don't know. This first one, don't know. Forget it. This is the second one. The second one, you will see that I start out. Oh no, I didn't even start out that way. So, here we go. Now we're going to make this smaller so you can see more. Oh, let's go to this already. Now, you'll see that I made adjustments. I started doing it. So now you're going to see things are going to be... Okay, so... Just so you know, I already had to make an adjustment just to get myself synchronized. And then, look, 47 seconds later, guess what? I had to do it again. Here. So that... if I don't do that... If I don't do that, it won't work because, okay, I did it. Look at this. How many times did I do it? 24 seconds, 24 seconds. It's getting off. And then, at first it went off. You see how I make a gap here? That was the only way to make it work. By moving this part over. So I thought, okay, well, this is a pain. Every once in a while, I got to make a gap. So anyway, but then I get down to here. And look, it's instead of it being a gap, look at what I had to do. I actually had to bring this over so there's overlap. Let's just go a little further. So you'll see I think it works. This takes time, I'll tell you. It takes time, Apple. Thank you so much. I'm using your program with your camera. All I'm doing is recording myself, and look at what you're doing to me, I have all this work to do. I finally gave up. I said, screw it. Now you can see what happens. You see, it's completely off. And it'll get worse and worse by the end. Well, playing the piano doesn't matter so much. But my facial expressions are in line with the music. And you're not seeing that. Well, here I'm talking a little bit, or singing or something. What am I doing? Yeah, I'm talking.
Uh-oh.
And it's completely off. Thank you, Apple.
Put a faulty module in for this program.
Okay. So there you have it. Well, it's a pain. And this is just one of the problems. And along with the other one, which I think I mentioned. Did I mention it on this one? Maybe not. Here, let's see if this... Hopefully it's not going to screw up. Okay, we're going to do it quickly before this thing screws up. Oh, it did. So forget it. It can't work. Done. Forget it. It won't work. So we'll just do it one at a time. Okay, we're going to do this thing where... Where's that louver? There it is. Okay. Okay, so you see that louver. Okay, I got my hands here. Now, if I actually looked at my hands and I looked at that louver, I would do it the right way. But that's not what I don't want that. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. This is the FaceTime camera, which is the opposite of the other. So, if I want to point to that louver, you see how I did it? I didn't have to think about it, I just did it. Okay, so now we're going to get out of this one. And now we're going to turn this one on. And you'll see that it's the opposite. So now, you see that louver? It's the same louver? It's the same louver. You're just seeing a bigger screen. But it's that louver that I said. I want to point to it. It's right over. Oh, it's not doing it. Look at that. I don't know. This is screwy. Well, we're gonna have. Oh, let's try the QuickTime one. It's the same. The QuickTime. Okay. Oh, that's probably why. Wait a minute. This is not working either. Wait. Stop that. New movie record. That I had too much open. I don't hold Apple responsible for this particular thing. Okay, but here, remember I pointed to the louver before, and I had no problem. Okay, now I'm going to point to it, and I'm telling you, I'm looking at the louver. It's over there. It's over there. See? I know it isn't. But I didn't have to pretend. I just did what makes sense to my sense of things, because Apple switched it around. What kind of moco-headed person decided to do that in the first place? And then, okay, let's just go for... Well, it's QuickTime Player does the same thing. Let's just go to About QuickTime Player. Version 10.2, copyright 2009. Okay, so for these years, they've been doing this. It's not the first... It's not a beta version or nothing. Let's get out of this one. We'll go and look at this one again. Okay, let's go and see when this one was made. iMovie. What about iMovie? You're not... Oh, because of this. And that one goes copyright 1999 through 2012. It's iMovie 11 is what I'm using. And iMovie 11 is doing it backwards. So every single time, if I'm trying to explain something, I'm looking at the screen as a monitor. I'm not just staring at the screen just because I like looking at myself. I used to, and that got me in trouble. Actually, I have 3 minutes left. I just need to be aware. Got to wrap this up. And try not to waste your time, while it's the same time being true to what's really going on now, instead of saying, oh, all the mistakes and all the other stuff will get it all worked out. It's because you, the listener or watcher, viewer, do not have the intelligence or the patience to watch what's really happening, because you can't get anything out of watching real life happen. You can't get anything out of watching a person kind of work through a thought process. No, that's 20th century. I did it again. Okay. Yeah, screw this. It's interesting. It just keeps screwing up, which is fine. We could use the FaceTime camera again, because I think if I'm just using this, it's right. And it doesn't screw me up the way, you see, it doesn't screw me up in terms of place, because they said, oh, FaceTime will do it right. Now, doing it right we're not talking about some big deal. We're talking about one little instruction that reverses, And they certainly could have given me an option, to have the screen this way or that way. I mean, the default should be the way that's easier for people to use, right? Apple is so superior to Windows because Apple is all about intuitives. If you want to know what intuitive is, how to spell intuitive, just ask Justin Long, who happens to have a house with his mother has another house. They have two houses next to each other. Tastefully done, not ostentatious at all. That says something positive about the guy. He's a big shot, and he comes and buys a piece of property on the lake where my in-laws have property. In fact, I have half stake in a piece of property on that same lake. Beautiful lake in the Berkshires in Massachusetts. And Justin Long comes along, and I wouldn't even know what his name was. I wouldn't know him from Justin Bieber. Why? Why bother? Except that, Justin Long lives on our lake. Oh, it's so exciting, So that's why I know his name, but I've seen the ads. Cool. You got the Microsoft guy with the manuals and everything. It's so great. My wonderful Windows machine works so well. It's just going to take me about an hour to figure out how to do it. And Justin Long comes in and goes, but I got that. It's so cool. Cool. Okay? Intuitive is spelled C-O-O-L. And if you don't know the intuitive stuff, just cozy up to somebody who's really cool. And then they'll tell you. And the secret they won't tell anybody that you